If you're not already subscribed to this YouTube channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button now, along with the bell icon so you can be notified whenever a new video is posted. And if you're already subscribed, check and make sure the YouTube hasn't unsubscribed you. And of course, be sure to give the video a like as well as share it on your social media. The white supremacists hate that. And now, the Sunday address. The DNC shills are constantly lecturing the black public in general and the black media in specific, telling everyone that the Democrats are the only resistance. So the creeping fascism of the white right, isn't that their favorite word? It's been their favorite word since 2015. We're the resistance, we're the resistance. Well, let's see how well the resistance is going. Oh, what a surprise. In the House of Representatives, there was a vote to quote-unquote honor Charlie Kirk, the racist, for, well, I'm not sure. I guess for being a white male who said racist stuff that delighted the likes of racists like Mike Johnson and his ilk. Roads are crumbling, bridges are literally falling apart if you drive over them, the cost of groceries is as high as the cost of tuition, people can't afford rent, much less buy a house, but this is what the House of Representatives chose to waste its time on. And the measure passed. Why was there not an effort by Democrats to block it or stall it or whatever? Not only did Democrats not try to stall or block this, they actually voted for it. 95 Democrats voted to honor a racist who was totally dishonorable. Not surprisingly, the Democratic House leader, Hakeem Jeffries, voted for this pathetic measure, and he wasn't alone. Jamie Raskin voted for it. Pete Aguilar and Ted Lieu, both congressmen from California, voted for it. So, another example of liberal California in action. In fact, a lot of Hispanic and Asian congresspeople voted for this measure. And Sarah McBride voted to honor the racist Charlie Kirk. For those of you who don't know, Sarah McBride is the transgender congressperson who the white media made much hay out of being elected. Charlie Kirk excoriated transgender people, yet the transgender congressperson voted to honor him. Just another demonstration that these white liberals are not confused. They understand their position in the world is not tied to their religion, nor to their alleged education, or their gender or sexual orientation. Identity politics is not what gets them their place in the world, except for their identity as being classified white. They know exactly what side their bread's buttered on. Now, Hakeem Jeffries, in case you forgot, he is the nephew of Dr. Leonard Jeffries, a black academic who, by the way, was excoriated back in the 90s as being an anti-Semite. Just keep that in mind. Hakeem Jeffries has bent over backwards and twisted his forked tongue in knots to stick up for Zionists who tried to destroy and do everything they could to wreck his own uncle, his own blood relative. It just goes to show that you can be related to someone with a good reputation but still break bad. Hakeem Jeffries' district surely wouldn't approve of this crap. So he's not doing it because he's scared that he's going to lose votes if he doesn't honor Charlie Kirk. He's doing it because he's terrified he will lose donor dollars. Because the donors are the ones who like Charlie Kirk. They like the white supremacist crap that he would spout. There's a reason Hakeem Jeffries was selected to take Nancy Pelosi's place as Democratic House leader, and now you're seeing why. The white powers that be didn't choose him because they thought that he would fight Trump or that he would fight the fascists. They chose him because they wanted someone who would fight you and me. That's his job. To fight us. So this legislation passed the House smoothly with no opposition. The so-called leader of the Democrats voted for it and didn't say boo, and Democrats had no problem uniting behind it, 95 of them at least. These are the same Democrats who during both the Biden and Obama administrations just couldn't get anything done for black people. They could never solidify the votes on anything pertaining to black people except for the Juneteenth holiday, which, as we told you, was just lazy lawmakers voting to give themselves another paid day off work. A lot of y'all didn't get it. Maybe some of you might get it now. All of a sudden, though, they figured out how to solidify their votes for Charlie Kirk, a man who excoriated them, demonized them, attacked them, and said, don't vote for the Democrats. And just to show that this wasn't some fluke, the United States Senate unanimously passed a resolution designating October 14th, 2025 as a National Day of Remembrance for Charlie Kirk. The key word there being unanimously. That means all the Democrats went for that crap too. That means Cory Booker voted that the nation needs to remember Charlie Kirk. Raphael Warnock voted that the nation needs to pause and remember Charlie Kirk. Those two black female senators that the white media and the black feminists were celebrating, Lisa Rochester, she voted to remember Charlie Kirk. And Angela Also Brooks, she also voted to remember Charlie Kirk too. Bernie Sanders voted for it, Adam Schiff voted for it, Chuck Schumer voted for it, Elizabeth Warren voted for it, John Ossoff voted for it. All of these people who claim to be so concerned about black lives, remember that crap? Well, now they're showing you the only thing they're actually concerned about. The Democrats unanimously supported honoring a racist whose words and deeds had no honor. I guess this is more of that resistance that these DNC shills have told us so much about, right? The House only had a few dissenters, the Senate had none. As Dr. Noam Chomsky said, it's the most sophisticated form of propaganda when someone presents themselves as opposition when in reality they're actually support. You know, it's interesting how times like this, those DNC shills and their sock puppet accounts and their bots and others, they always go quiet times like this. And for some of you people who went along with the get along, you hard-headed fools, you're going to realize you were wrong and that we told you this. We have no friends. For all you DNC shills out there, remind me again why you want us to vote for the Democrats. Because they're going to do what again? All you clowns saying, you black media, y'all just a bunch of GOP cheerleaders. Well, obviously, we don't love the GOP as much as the Democrats do. We don't love the GOP as much as Hakeem Jeffries does. We don't love the GOP as much as Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders do. But of course, the shills are being real quiet right now because the Democrats are being put to the test and failing with lying colors. I didn't say flying, I said lying colors. By the way, there's one last point. October 14th is a very interesting date because you want to know who else's birthday was on October 14th? George Floyd. Isn't that something? It's perversely ironic that Charlie Kirk, an inveterate racist who lied about George Floyd and mocked his murder, also has the same birthday. Perhaps that's the reason that Charlie Kirk was ready to bend over backwards and jump out a window to attack George Floyd and lie about him every chance he got. And also, you DNC shills who are laying low right now, please remind all of us, what did the Democrats do to honor George Floyd? After all, his birthday was on October 14th. Joe Biden made some loose talk about a George Floyd Policing Act. That's all the Democrats did, some loose and insincere chatter about that, which they never passed because they never intended to. It was always just meant as some empty rhetoric for them to go ahead and get those angry people who are outraged about George Floyd's murder to pipe down and don't worry, we're going to do something when in fact all they were trying to do was to run out the clock. They were waiting to see if people would forget about it so they could move on. That's what their plan was from the very beginning. Do you see the Democrats deciding, you know what, we need to honor George Floyd like we should honor all of the victims of police murder? They didn't do that. So the Senate has now declared the birthday of George Floyd to be the day of remembrance for a mouth-frothing, knuckle-dragging, drool-on-his-shoes racist Charlie Kirk. And every single Democrat in the Senate voted in favor of it too. The same Democrats who couldn't do anything for black people, they could get all on code to venerate a putrid racist. I really hope all these DNC shills and maggots who have infested my comment section will go ahead and tell us all how important it is for us to back the Democrats because they're going to stand up to the Republicans. They're the resistance. Where the hell's the resistance at? They're collaborating. All the people who keep popping up in our comment sections, copying and pasting the DNC talking points that the black media is just a bunch of Republican tools. No, stupid, this is what Republican tools look like. The black media has never praised or applauded Charlie Kirk on anything. Democrats have. And they've voted repeatedly to honor someone who was totally dishonorable. Charlie Kirk wasn't grassroots, he was pure astroturf. He was an invention of wealthy right-wing billionaire donors. I laid out in last Thursday's morning briefing that every right-wing blowhard you ever heard of, from Ben Shapiro to Barry Weiss to Breitbart to Charlie Kirk, were all chosen and funded by wealthy benefactors who had the money to send them around the country on jets, first class, to pick up a phone and instantly get them time on any network and get them places on any university campus, get them put on Fox News, go ahead and spread their gibberish far and wide. The wealthy have invented entire infrastructures to promote their chosen shills and tools, of which Charlie Kirk was just one. White power invented this guy. He didn't build anything, it was handed to him. Because that's what white privilege is. White privilege requires that things be handed to you. Charlie Kirk never finished anything in his life. He couldn't even finish college. A mediocre community college, he had to drop out. Only under white supremacy can a halfway literate college dropout call himself running around to university campuses trying to act like he's smart. And you'll actually have people on the left corner of the white media who will be sitting here lauding this guy and talking about him as if he was so studied and just so intelligent. So to talk about honoring him for his alleged accomplishments, that's a joke and a lie. You might as well invite the one remaining Koch brother and Bill Ackerman to speak, because they were far more responsible for Charlie Kirk's accomplishments than Charlie Kirk was. But as usual, the Democrats have no problem solidifying their votes and getting on board to get legislation passed just so long as it doesn't pertain to black people. Now, the entire reason that I made this the subject of this Sunday address is to ask you one question. Is this the so-called resistance that these shills and bots and suck-ups and sock puppets for the DNC have been promising us all these years? When they've been calling themselves finger-wagging at the black media and lying about us and calling us Russian bots like Joke Reed did, when these people sit here and say, these guys, they're on board the Republicans, is this supposed to be the opposition to the Republican Party? For years, they've told us the Democrats are the only ones who are standing up to Trump and the creeping fascism he represents. But we aren't hearing that line of crap now, are we? I want to see Roly-Poly and the other political prostitutes get out here and tell us what a great job the Democrats are doing now. Go ahead and tell us how they're standing up to the Republicans, standing up to the racists, how they're the ones who are the only things standing between America and full-fledged fascism. These people on the left who played the fools for the DNC are so pathetic. They're all angry and crying right now, a lot of them. How could the Democrats just roll over like this? They're not even trying to fight the Republicans. They're just agreeing with them on everything. Oh my God, are they on the same side as the Republicans? This is why they're going to lose the midterms. I'm not voting for them after this. Gee, I'm so shocked to hear that kind of talk. That the Democrats could ever be revealed as just a pack of liars and frauds, and that they were never actually an opposition party, but rather collaborators with the DNC, and that it makes no sense to vote for Democrats when they're not actually opposing the Republicans. Gee, where have I heard that before? Oh, wait. So all these fools who spent the last 17 years attacking the black media are now the ones who are saying, man, the Democrats don't deserve our vote if they're going to do this. Yeah, they're talking just like us, now. You know, I don't want to keep company with people who are so stupid that they need 20 years to figure out something that was obvious in the first 20 minutes. And even then, they don't actually get it. They only seem to understand when it's so blatantly, ridiculously slapping them in the face that they simply can't deny it. Democrats are voting to honor someone who attacked Dr. King, who called Dr. King a bad person, who lied repeatedly about George Floyd, who falsely claimed that Floyd died from a drug overdose, and who giddily celebrated a violent attempt on the life of the spouse of one of their colleagues. How can you shills say the Democrats are going to protect America when the bastards won't even protect themselves? You're all bent out of shape about Jimmy Kimmel getting suspended. Well, nice to see we finally found the one thing you actually care about, your entertainment. Sad to say, more of these people are upset over Jimmy Kimmel not being on the air than they were over the National Guard in D.C. And don't kid yourself, even if Republicans were in the minority in both the House and the Senate, Democrats still would have allowed a vote to come to the floor to honor Charlie Kirk. And you know what? They would have voted to support it too, regardless. Same way we see Gavin Newsom slobbering all over the white right to praise Charlie Kirk and twisting his linguini spine into knots trying to appeal to the white right. It's the same way we've seen Democrats for years trying to appeal to Republican voters. Remember Rahm Emanuel and his so-called Biden Republicans that never materialized? And the Democrats are doing this because the black grassroots have stopped voting for nothing. Black folks started making demands. The Democrats realized, okay, we're not going to be able to send out any pork chop preachers to get them back in line or to distract them or to otherwise take their eye off the ball. This is more of the Democrats pursuing their appeal to the white right political strategy. And has it worked? Of course not. Have Democrats consistently lost elections trying this? Of course. But they don't care because the only ones they're actually trying to appeal to are their rich donors. And the donors will continue to give them campaign donations, albeit modestly, so long as the Democrats keep making fools of themselves like this. As usual, the black media is right. The tools, shills, and sellouts are wrong. I really want the vote blue no matter who crowd to make sure to show up for this one. I mean, we haven't heard from those creeps in a while, and they've been radio silent ever since Friday. It's interesting how many of these fools who had previously been waving the vote blue no matter who flag are now trying to lie and pretend that they were skeptical about the Democrats all along. Oh, you know, I've always had my reservations about the Democrats because I was disappointed I was skeptical from the very beginning. I was waiting to see what they would do with this or that legislation. Well, you're common sense deficient and your IQ is lower than your shoe size if you actually needed to wait to figure this one out. The black grassroots, the black media, saw the game from the very beginning, and we were attacked for it. But as usual, if you're not listening to the black media, you'll always be the last to know. And these online bootlicking clowns are just now figuring this out, some of them, but don't let the DNC cheerleaders lie to you, family. They were dyed-in-the-wool apologists for the same Democrats who today they're whining about. Their problem is that the Democrats have embarrassed them. The Democrats have exposed them, humiliated them, look like the fools that they are. And now they're trying to save face by saying, well, I had my doubts about them for a while now. That's a lie. They were solidly on the Democrats' side, solidly on Team DNC, carrying water for them. They're just embarrassed and humiliated now because the Democrats are now just caving into the Republicans wholeheartedly. They switch sides at this point. And best of all, these butt-kissing shills and bootlicks and liars, they can't deny it. That's how pathetic their defense of the Democrats has become. See, this is the importance of black folks getting on code and putting our foot down, forcing everyone to say where they stand. Take on those hardline issues like reparations. Force everybody to have to go on the record with what they really believe. Make things come to a head. And of course, let's not forget about the fact that we made it very clear the only way you're going to keep the orange man from getting back in the White House is to do what we say. If not, well, then the nation's in for one hell of a political face peel when Donald Trump's back in there, and you see what the result is. They know that there's no way to put a spin on this, or to dilute it, or to downplay it. This puts the lie to everything the shills have said about the Democrats and about the black grassroots. So don't let them sit here and try to take off their DNC uniforms, try to take off their official I Love Nancy Pelosi pins, and then try to pretend like they weren't on board with the BS. And this is the reason why you didn't see the black grassroots getting terrified about the orange man getting reelected. Why? Because we knew that this would force everyone to have to go on the record. If there actually is an opposition party out there, then they would have to actually be forced to fight. They would actually have to oppose something. Are these guys about representing the American people, or are they only about representing themselves? And now we've gotten the answer. People have been asking for a while now, will the Democrats actually ever fight for anything? And now they're proving what they're going to fight for. They'll fight to honor racists. Not one of them will say a peep about how divisive Charlie Kirk was. And divisiveness was literally the only thing that he did. We were told that reparations was divisive, remember? Well, what the hell was Charlie Kirk? Liars are always saying, we're fighting so hard for you. Well, now we're paying attention and we're keeping tabs and records on what people do. And what a surprise. It's been an uninterrupted record of lies and capitulation and outright collaboration with the very Republicans who they claim to be fighting. Democrats won't even speak against the white right, much less fight them, because the game from the very beginning was to con you into thinking there was some sort of resistance, when in reality, they're both two wings on the same white supremacist vulture. I've been telling you this for 17 years. How do you dial people in to be oppressed for the long haul? It's a trick as old as the Romans. Present them with phony opposition. That way they have the illusion that there's some sort of choice in why they can work within the very system that their oppressors set up. That's the purpose that controlled opposition serves. It gets you to sit on your hands and do nothing, and you sit there and think to yourself that one of these sellouts and suckers or one of these traitors is going to actually do something to empower you when they were put there by the very people who subjugated you in the first place. The entire reason they're called controlled opposition is because their job is to control you. So, while the shills and DNC plants are going silent yet again, the black media won't. Some of you fools actually tricked yourselves into believing that if Trump got back into the White House, that this would force the Democrats to finally have to stand for something and to stop playing games, and that Republican adversity would force the Democrats to finally grow a spine. Well, we in the black media told you this was never going to happen. As the old saying goes, adversity doesn't build character, it reveals it. Good evening, and be one. I'd like to take a moment to mention some of our contributors: Walter Kelly Jr., Carl Miller, Miss Debbie, John Harvin, and Liban Gurhan. Salute to them and thank you to everyone for listening, liking, and sharing this message. Black empowerment only exists because of you.